Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for XRP, Dogecoin, Solana and Cardano. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc, which has today a higher trading volume than Bitget, OKX and Bybit. Usually it's around about the same. But as you can see, the taker fees are far much lower than on the other top crypto exchanges. 0.01% is nothing compared to the other crypto exchanges. And on top of that, you can get an additional 20% discount if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. And also, 100 pairs are tradable without any fees, just on mexc. And here you have a huge list of popular altcoins which you can trade without any fees. So let's get to XRP. What did we say about XRP? We have said this here is a rectangle. If it breaks to the downside, then the target is going to be the $2.13 or even 14, where we also have support. We got there. What happened afterwards is we broke to the downside, fell to the support, and we met the panel again. But we got rejected. And in the end of the day, we also broke the pattern where we have said this might be a shoulder, head, shoulder formatation. We already broke it to the downside. We also got a candle close lower than that. So what I think is we got the first sign of bearishness, of weakness for XRP. Yeah, the retest failed. Yeah, we got the candle close here, but we needed to wait for the retest, and then we could have jumped safely into a trade for the push to the downside. The follow candle got its candle close over the orange trend line again. So basically what I think now is we can get a bit higher for XRP because we have a fair value gap between $2.16 and 5 to $2.17 and 6. I will also put you here two price marks, $2.17 and $2.16. So in the end of the day, if we get into that fair value gap, I will open a short trade for XRP with a stop loss over the panel, because I think that the panel has many touch points on the upside. I count 4 at the moment. So if we break to the upside, then it would be a positive sign. We can get back to $2.21. If we also break the $2.21, then we can meet the $2.25 for XRP. I would take out the target here because this is the target. I have put it the spread of that panel. I can take this one out because we already broke it to the downside. So I will put you still the price marks here, which are important. At the moment, the $2.19.5. But of course, if we break that panel to the upside a bit later, then the price is also going to move. So another price mark here, $2.21. So if we get into the fair value gap or even a step higher into the top of that panel and we get rejected and get a follow through to the low here, means we get a 1 hour candle close lower than the $2.11, then I think that the target is actually going to be from that shoulder head shoulder formatation. It should be the $1.94, but I think we have good support at $1.98 and $2.03.5. So in the end of the day, those two price marks are take profits for the short trade of XRP. So let's jump to Dogecoin. Dogecoin also showed another sign of weakness to me. Yeah, we have this time broke the red trend line sustainable to the downside, where we got the candle close. We have to zoom in so you can see it better. So we got here the candle close lower than the red trend line, and we can count this here as a retest, even if we didn't touch the trend line perfectly. and here was the follow through to the sell-off. In the end of the day, we also got another candle close lower than the orange trend line, where we have said this can be also a shoulder head shoulder formatation. So now we are getting some positive momentum, because we also have here a fair value gap. I can even imagine that Dogecoin can get up to 17.45 cents. If we get rejected there, then it would be negative. Also, it can be a possible double bottom pattern. If we break the 17.5 cents to the upside, then the target of that double bottom pattern is going to be the 18.1 cents. But I think here we have resistance at 17.9 cents, which we have to break to the upside first before we can look for higher prices. I personally think that since this red trend line is coming from the downside, that we break the 17.45 cents to the upside. It looks like it to me, but it can just be a second retest before we then sell off. So the coins aren't looking good. If we take the target of that shoulder head shoulder formatation, then it should be at least 15.46 cents. But if we take the more bearish scenario, then 14.67 cents is going to get very interesting. I have also put here not a box but 2 support trend lines, which I think are very interesting, where I expect a bounce. This is between 14.9 cents and 15.25 cents for Dogecoin. So if we get the follow through, means we get another candle close lower than the lows here, then I think Dogecoin goes with a higher chance into the area 16.1 cents, because we also have here fair value gap. Here I'm also going to take some profits, because I expect that we get a bounce here. And if we get the bounce, then we have to see, is it going to get a V-shaped recovery where we can get for higher prices, or do we just get a small bounce and then sell off into the area which I have named you, between 14.9 cents to 15.3 cents. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter what is going to happen with those two scenarios. My take profit is 16.1 cents, and then I'm going to modify my stop loss in the profit area, where I would say, if I see a nice structure where I can say, here's for example my stop loss, then I don't care. If we bounce to the upside, then I'm going to get stopped out with my other 50% position size, even in profits. Or if we just get a smaller bounce and then sell off, then I still have 50% in game and can get for higher profits for Dogecoin. Dogecoin would look bullish to me if we break the 18.3 cents to the upside. It's still a long way up. I think the chances to sell off are higher. But if we break the 18.3 cents to the upside, then the target of that is going to be the 19.1 cents. I even think 18.9 cents is going to get more realistic for Dogecoin. So let's jump into the next coin, Solana. Solana also showed some weakness. Yeah, we have said here this might be a panel. We didn't break it to the upside. Yeah, we broke it to the upside a bit later, but first we broke it to the downside. And this was a negative sign. So basically we can still get some momentum. I would say 194 US dollar is realistic for Dogecoin. Sorry, for Solana. But afterwards I would be careful. Yeah, if we take here the target, then we can say, okay, 194 US dollar is 94 US dollars going to get interesting. If we break it to the upside, then we can meet the 153 US dollar again. We have already met that price mark a few times in the past, so why not getting there again? but we also have to break the 153 US dollar to the upside. So if we break the 153 US dollar to the upside, then I would be bullish for Solana, because I think then we can get into the circle area, or even far much higher, because we still have a huge fair value gap over us, even 2 fair value gaps. If we count this as a huge one, then 3. So basically there we can get some positive momentum to the upside with a huge push. But Solana looks bearish to me at the moment. Yeah, we didn't break the 153 US dollar yet. Instead, we already got some candle closes lower than the 145 US dollar, which I think is a support which has to hold. We got here the candle close. We got here a higher high, yeah, which is, let's say, positive. But if we get to 194, for example, 149 US dollar, then sell off, get a candle close lower than the lows here, then the target would be the 137 US dollar to 138 US dollar. I would even say 136 is also going to get very interesting for Solana. So what about Cardano? We have predicted a panel or a rising wedge. Here was the target. We hit it with the lows here, so I can take this one out. We have also said, okay, here might be a falling wedge. If we break it to the upside, we can even get the second retest for the rising wedge. But here, as you can see, we broke the rising wedge, the falling wedge to the downside. So basically I can take this one out. It didn't work at all. It got invalidated. So we also broke the 66.6 cents to the downside, which I think is very negative, because we can also say about here that this here is a rectangle or a possible double top pattern, or a shoulder head shoulder formatation. All 3 patterns which I have named you, they are bearish if they break to the downside. In the end of the day, we got the first sign of bearishness. We got here the breakout candle, we got here the retest, we got here the follow through. But we have also built up a fair value gap here. So I think we are going for the fair value gap. And I have also put here a green trend line on the chart. That green trend line would be, if I would say, okay, this fair value gap is going to get my short entry for Cardano. If we break the green trend line to the upside, I will also put you here a price mark, 68.27 cents. Then the chances of getting some bullish momentum is going to get higher if we break that green trend line. So if we break the green trend line, then I can say, okay, the 68.9 cents are going to get interesting, where we have an horizontal resistance. If we also break the 68.9 cents to the upside, then we can think about a second retest of the rising wedge, which already met its target. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if we retest it, but in the end of the day, it might be even possible that we get there. We have said so far, Cardano would be bullish if we break the box here to the upside. Instead, as you can see, we got rejected there quite often, so we still have to wait for the 73.5 cents breaking to the upside. Then it would be positive and we would get some good bullish momentum up to 75 cents, 76 cents, or even getting higher, closing the fair value gaps over us. Yeah, even potentially up to 80 cents. So if we get another follow through, means we get up here, get rejected, get a candle close lower than the lows here, then the target is clear to me. Most likely 60 cents is going to get very interesting. I have also here a purple box. which is support area. Can put this one like this. So the area between 61 cents to 60.8 cents is going to get very interesting. Since the box is very small, it might be possible that we overshoot it to the downside, means we can even push lower than that or even get support a bit higher than that. It is possible, but in that area, if we get near to it, I would be a bit careful if I have a short position. I don't want to hunt every single penny, because the chances of getting a reversal anytime soon, a bullish one, is high if we drop that much. So that green trend line is very sharp, so if it breaks to the upside, I would be still careful. It's not going to indicate a trend reversal. I want to add that as well. Like I said, for a trend reversal, we have to wait for the 73.5 cents. Then it's super bullish to me and we can go for higher prices and for another push for Cardano. So I hope that I gave you some valuable information and see you in the next video.